Hey everybody, Matthew Boyle here from LanguageCardGames.com, where we believe if you can play cards, you can learn languages. And thank you so much for tuning in again. It's a pleasure to have you here. I wanted to share with you another idea that I had related to your language learning practices. This is an idea that I share with the people that I coach and mentor in the Cardlanger Academy. If you're interested to learn more about that gamified language coaching program, I'll put a link into this video. We learn languages with games and through helpful ideas like these. It's a highly motivational and fun program, and it could be just the thing that you need to get started. So what I want to share with you today is something I call the language differentiator. Or maybe we can call it the language learning differentiator. And I want to encourage you to grab out a notebook and some markers and follow along with me, because this could really help you out, and I think you'll find it really motivational and inspirational. So as we know, for a lot of people who start to learn languages, they'll quickly find that many people are studying the language they want to study in a standardized way. There will always be standardized approaches to learning a particular language. There will be certain textbooks people advocate. There will be certain school programs that people advocate. There will be certain testings and certifications that people are going for, and the list goes on and on. Certain ways to pronounce, certain ways to write. And these ways I would compare versus the personalized ways. In fact, these, maybe we can kind of look at these as being on a spectrum. The personalized ways being on one side and the standardized ways being on the other side. If you are aiming to get a high score on a particular test, if you are aiming for a particular type of job that requires it, or if you just really like the standardized approach to learning a particular language, then you would lean towards this side. If you find those practices cumbersome and it demotivates you when you compare yourself to the people who are learning this way, then it might be better for you to lean towards the more personalized style and learn in ways that suit you. And I think the people that tend to learn in this more standardized ways, they too get a little bored of that from time to time, and they will dip into the more of a personalized way when they want to do some enrichment or freshen things up and have a little bit of fun. So this is kind of like the yin and yang of language learning. Sorry, I just said yang in the Mandarin way, yin and yang. This is kind of like the yin and yang of language learning right here. There is some interplay. There's no, I don't think one way is right and wrong and one way is better or worse. But I just want to bring this to your attention. And in today's video, I want to teach you how you can make a more differentiated and personalized study program for yourself and your language. Because I'm all about gamification, flexibility, personalization, doing things when you're in the mood. That works better for me as I sought to learn Mandarin. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to write out, there's a few different ways you can approach this, but what you're going to first write down is the different types of aspects and methods and modes that people delve into when they're studying a particular language. Let's just take Japanese for an example. I don't even learn Japanese, but let's just use it for an example. People, one point is they might learn speaking. Another point is they might learn writing. Of course, there's reading, there's listening. There may be, some people may study calligraphy. Some people may study for a particular test, so test taking. Some people may emphasize conversation. Some people may be preparing for speech or debate, and on and on. So there's different segments of the language that people may study. So what you can do, if you want to differentiate your program, your daily regimen, is you can look at the aspects that interest you the most, that you would prefer to work on. And it doesn't really matter when or how. It's really up to just your interest. So, I know nothing about Japanese. Maybe I should have picked a language that I know more about. But let's just say, for example, when people start learning Japanese, maybe they emphasize maybe the writing is very important to them. Let me use a different color. Actually, what's really important to people, it could also depend on what type of social circles they're in, where their demographic, basically. But let's say it was generally important for people to learn how to read, how to write, how to speak, and how to listen. That's really important in most languages, but this is the standardized approach, okay? But let's say that maybe for you, and maybe their interest in calligraphy is lower. They don't emphasize that. Maybe testing is a little more important. Conversation might be important. And maybe they're not interested in speech, debates, things like that. So then their line would look something like this. For the language differentiator to work, you need to plot your own course. And it might look quite different from that line, and that's okay. That's even desirable. Maybe you are in love with Japanese calligraphy. Maybe you hate tests and don't ever want to take one. That's okay. Maybe you really enjoy having conversations with people. Maybe you enjoy having conversations with people about calligraphy. Maybe you like public speaking and you would like to be able to deliver a short speech in Japanese. Maybe there's a speech competition or something coming up at your school. And you like speaking and writing, but you don't really like reading. Maybe that's really low. And maybe your listening is kind of poor. Who knows? So your study regimen would look something like this, and your line would be something like this. So this is a way to compare and contrast yourself to others and realize that the way that you want to study your language is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And this can help you to hone in on exactly what you want to work on. Another way that we could look at it is by what type of content we imbibe. So if you think about Japanese, maybe some people are really into the anime, cartoons. Maybe some people really like the video games. Maybe some people really like the card games. Maybe some people like theater, like kabuki or the no plays. Again, maybe some people prefer calligraphy. Maybe some people prefer Japanese cinema. I was looking at some great samurai movies the other day. So again, person A might be really interested. Sorry, again, let me switch a color. Person A might be really, let's say maybe they're not so interested in gaming, but they really like to watch TV. Maybe they really like movies, and they like some theater, and they like watching the anime cartoons, but they don't really like to game, and they don't do calligraphy. So again, the language differentiator is going to show us that you may be different, and that's okay, and you can focus on what works for you. And I recommend you to draw this out on paper so you can see yourself and visualize yourself as a learner. Maybe for you, you really like the games. So you like Japanese video games, you like card games. Maybe you also really like the cartoons as much as they do. But you don't really like the film history so much. You don't really like to do calligraphy so much. And you don't really like to see the plays at all. So then your line, you can chart it like this. And maybe, I'm just drawing this quickly and messily today, but you could make this look really nice in a computer program, or if you took the time with a ruler by hand, you can make this all look very calculated and mathematical. And you could really get a sense of how people like to learn. If you really know about a particular language and how people traditionally approach it, you could map out all the things that are traditionally studied first and the order in which they are approached and how, and then you could design your own study program around that, under that, beneath that, over that, through that. And it may look completely different. So this is really a visualization tool for what you can focus on. And I'm calling it, for now, the Language Learning Differentiator. I believe you should have a language learning study program that is as unique as you are. So thank you so much for tuning in today's video. If you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like, give it a thumbs up. I hope you have a great time studying languages this weekend, and I'll see you back here next time at Language Card Games. Bye-bye for now.